starting a biblical cooperative. Koinonia is a usual term in our churches as an activity, a fellowship, but the Greek word has a deeper meaning. It's a participation. People shared not just their presence, but also they were sharing their resources, including their finances. Also, in Koinonia, there's a community concept. Those who are joining has a common unity, not just in doctrine, but also in lifestyle. There's also a partnership. They partnered with their advocacy, sharing their own life, expertise, and also their resources. Also, there's a sort of sharing. Participants are willing to share what they have to the extent that selling their own properties. And another one is unity. They have one mind, one spirit in pursuing the same directions, pursuing their visions. So those factors are very important in defining koinonia, not just a fellowship, but a participation, a community, a common unity, a partnership, sharing, and unity. That's the deeper meaning of koinonia. So in other words, our concept of unity is quite different from the example of early believers. In the book of Acts, we could see that the definition of a church has a remarkable difference with our church practices nowadays. Let's take a look at Joseph's ministry. In Genesis chapter 37 and up to 47, we can see how God used Joseph to prepare for the coming famine that would happen to Egypt and the whole of the Middle East. God gave Joseph a ministry to spare not just the Egyptians, but also his own people, the Israelites, the clan of Jacob. God gave a strategy to spare his people through the ministry of Joseph. After the generation of Joseph, another group of Israelites blew. They were intimidated by the Egyptians and was no longer allowed to mingle with the Egyptians, and they were given another place called Goshen. It's also part of Egypt. It's a place where they formed a community with their own supplies, goods. They are interdependent with one another. They help one another. They had a common unity. So in this place, they have their own economy, not dependent on the Egyptians. So one of the reasons why they were not affected by the plagues and famines in Egypt during the time of King, the present need amongst us. We are in the coronavirus pandemic. We are all caught unaware by the sudden spread of pandemic worldwide. So most of us are not prepared in this season. Some of the churches has been closed down and many believers are out of work. They run out of funds. They have no contingency funds. So until now, many are struggling how to cope up with this present scenario. But there are also some churches who are stewards of God's resources who practice the biblical principle of savings or stewardship. They taught their members to save an amount monthly. So in this pandemic season, they were able to distribute funds because of that saving program. So imagine if you as a pastor have around 100 members and they are saving at least $1 every Sunday service, uh, not counting their tithes and their offerings. So they will have around $400 for a year, a total of 4,800. So for 5 years, they would be able to save around $24,000 as if you have 100 members. So $1 every Sunday service for every member in a different envelope to be kept in a different. or different bank account. So as of now, we do not know how long this pandemic would last. Or maybe a virus would come as predicted by the medical world and also prophesied by many men of God. So the question is, are we ready to face this longer with what we're experiencing right now? Is the body of Christ has a contingency plan for this? In your local areas, in your cities, or in your countries. So what are some measures we need to get into? That's why we can go back to the early examples of early Christians, the early fathers, even the reformers. They will show us how they were able to survive in this kind of season. In this pandemic season, we had the foretaste in the free world how to be controlled and be isolated in our own places. We cannot move, we cannot buy, we cannot travel, and do the things we normally do. This is a preview of a certain control in our basic necessities. So time will come, as predicted in the Bible, we can no longer buy or sell or eat without permission from the existing government. So I think at this very present time, we need to act now. We need to mobilize Christians in our communities to form a united effort to form our own koinonia, our own kingdom community, our Goshen community, where we can rely on each other, we can uh, supply the needs of each other with our different goods based on our giftings, based on our capacity, based on our industry. So there are so many Christians located in different industries. In the seven mountain courses, we can pool our resources together to be prepared on this coming big storm that is predicted in the Word of God. So even though restrictions on basic necessities would happen, in some countries it's already happening, believers can help one another. We can still prevail and even help our communities because we have our own goods, we have our own products, we have our own supplies, we have our own economy. So we are not afraid what would happen. And because of that, we can continue supplying or doing our local and global ministries. The same things that the early Christians, the Moravians during 15th to 17th centuries, they were able to unite. They have their own community. They build their ships. They sent missionaries continuously. They prayed together. They preached the word together. They maximized their resources. So I have so many explanation about Goshen community or kingdom cooperative agenda in some of my presentations. This is one of the reasons why I advocated this kind of community or kingdom community because pastors, missionaries as myself, workers working full-time in the field receive no proper compensation and benefits during their services. Although I know that all of us as God's worker in the field, we are dependent on our faith that God would provide. But also the Bible is very clear that also we need to help one another. And there are some special ministries given to the body of Christ to support, to help, and to minister to one another. So many are struggling financially. Some have no way to send their children to proper education. During emergencies, they are bound with burden to pay huge amount on hospitalization. Even older pastors has no benefits of home care or retirement benefits from their churches. So I think it's right time now for us to have a member care or missionary care or pastoral care to our workers and our leaders. So forming a cooperative within a community of churches in one town, not just setting up a pastor association, but we can make those pastors association as a cooperative that we can also cater to the needs of our workers. So maybe we could start in one province, and the Christian churches would unite and maximize their resources. We can even connect our cooperative to insurance companies with minimal monthly premium, thus giving a lot of benefits to our workers. These are the potential if we connect our cooperative in the insurance companies. So I myself is before an insurance man, so I could see the benefits that we could give to our workers. They could have retirement benefits. They could have life insurance, hospitalization benefits, accident insurance, and also a lot of insurance other than the amount that they could save in the cooperative.